Welcome to a Projector live stream from IBIZA. I just wanted to share with you these vibes of my perfect environment. Feels so good to be back, and I have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of things to cover. I even have notes because I don't know where to start. I do know, but it's like pouring out of me. Being back in my perfect environment immediately shifted something in my energy, in my physical body. There's no resistance, and it's just so beautiful. So let me just give you a glimpse of the sunset. I mean, behind me are the vegetable gardens. When I turn the camera, I'm looking at the pool. There's no aura around, no one. This is the most incredible experience of wealth. It is spaciousness. It's rarity. The real riches of a projector is rarity, like being rare among nobody. That is where we thrive and actually what we work for. Because people who don't have money, they live in small apartments. They are stashed together. They live usually in areas of the city where a lot of people are in the same place. So no matter how much money you have, success highly depends on your environment, your penta, and your fractal. And understanding the projector mechanics in business is what I want to talk about today. So welcome to this live stream. Hi, Sarah, the vibe woman in the house. Sarah, you will be like, it is gold what I channeled and what I transmitted through my channel of transmission for the eclipse update. There was a reason why I was waiting for it. I will record this for the vibe afterwards. So the vibe is my monthly subscription where I share all the behind the scenes and the energy update and the business energetics that I do not share on a live stream. So especially right now, it's a good time to join this monthly membership. You can plug in and see if you love the vibe in there. It is my most favorite space to just let it all out, all the fire and ginger. If you love my stories, you love that space for sure. So I have the energy update. I will also record a forecast how I will change my business model from November and December on to set my business up for 7 figures in 2023, especially with regards to the big shift that is happening in March 2023. So get excited for that. Who else is here? But today I want to talk about, say hello. If you're hopping on and you're watching me live, say hi. Bria's here, Projector. Who else is here? Christina, happy Friday. Yay. So tomorrow, the on-air show will be, just as a little announcement, tomorrow I go live with a special guest. And on-air is usually the show, my weekly show, where I bring people on. So you get answers to your questions, you get coaching from me. So make sure to join tomorrow. If you want to hop on air with me, you can send me a message and I can get you on the guest list. And on Sunday, I will announce something really big. All projectors and all not projectors got to be there. So who else is there? Hello. So I'm very excited. Hello, what is your human design? Drop it in the comments below. I'm explaining projector, abstract and tribal channel, defined ego. In my perfect environment right now. Couldn't be happier. So I have a couple of things that I observed the last days, and as I was going into the energy update again after the eclipse, it all makes totally sense. Kelly is here. Hi, good to see you. Splenic projector as well. I attract so many fifth lines in my life lately. It's about amping up that projection field and universalizing and reaching more people and getting on the stages and getting on and speaker engagement. Like that's the fifth line energy that the women embody, and in my world, bringing that into it. So on a projector, splenic, so many splenic and emotional. It's interesting. Look at that. There's a pattern. There is a pattern. I'm curious, who has a defined heart and who has a undefined heart? Share below as well. So as I was looking into the energy updates of this eclipse, it totally makes sense what I observe in the coaching industry. In the there's like, I have 1 foot still in the old coaching industry and 1 foot in the human design industry. I don't even want to talk about industry, but they're just different groups of people with different interests and different patterns, and one group of people is operating more in the old paradigm, in the old not self mind model of, I call it the 7-centered business model. And there's a new group of people, communities, that are preparing for the wheel shifting in 2027. And there are a small elite of people among those people who are already operating and creating their businesses and messaging and showing up online in a correct way. And correct means correct for you, individualized, differentiated. Hi, Brittany. No, I'm in Ibiza. I'm back home. I'm actually looking for apartments. Like I don't want to leave. No, let me give you just like, this is palm trees and it is the sunset. It's just so good. It's so healing. It's so soothing. It's so luxurious in terms of how the body feels when there's zero resistance, when you're in the perfect environment and your mechanics work differently. It is just so beautiful. It is so beautiful. And I'm planning on retreats and client events in March when they open up again. So we'll see. That will be. I vote for the Ibiza as well. Yeah. I feel so different. It's so mutative. It's so beautiful. So there's the eclipse energy brought a lot of. No, I am mountains. I'm not valleys. This is not valleys here. This is mountains. This is not valleys. So this is, let me just go into this, what I want to talk about, and then I will answer some questions in the end, okay? So if you have questions while I'm talking, use this little questionnaire here, down here, write your question in there, and then it won't get lost in the comments, okay? And then in the end, I will talk about a couple of things that my spleen approves. So with this eclipse energy, how's everybody doing? How are you doing with this eclipse? I feel so Scorpionic. Like the Scorpio vibes come up. But what I noticed and what I observed, so what I'm doing today is I will talk about a lot of things that I observed, and it is no judgment. It's just observation. So this is the biggest disclaimer that I have to say if you're new to my world. If you're a client of mine, you already know. But whatever I say, it's just to create awareness and to speak what I observe as a projector, to project that out. And as a 6th line on the roof, of course, I have a different perspective. But there's no judgment. There is no right or wrong. But it is definitely a correct way and a way that is not correct. Meaning differentiated or not, programmed or not. And most people out there and most projectors are still in their not self. How they show up, how they use social media, how they run their businesses. And they will be running even more into a dead end because they cannot scale. The more effort you put in and the more you follow the rules that the program is teaching you social media is teaching you, coaches are modeling you, the more you get pulled out of your power, out of your design, out of your intuition, and you get into your mind again. While we want, as especially as projectors for 2027, want to be correct in how we observe and what we see. But a projector who is in their not self and is jumping on social media and on TikTok and doing all the things that all sacrals do, you cannot see correctly and you cannot guide correctly. And with this eclipse, what comes up, and this is Scorpio energy, is the deep wounds and the deep patterns of the not self. Also around ego, and I'm not talking about the ego center. It's like this, the not self, the good girl, the little girl that thinks, oh, I can do it alone, I don't need someone else, or the fear of having someone else look at you and maybe want to guide you and coach you, but there's a resistance of, oh my God, if I, especially line 5 here, if I, and second lines as well, if I allow someone else to look at me, then I maybe feel bad and uncomfortable because I could hear that I do something wrong. And that's not what it's about. A projector is only a correct and integrated projector if they are working with other mentors who are also integrated and correct projectors, because otherwise they will not be able to see correctly. And seeing correctly means the filter of the nodes in your chart. So if projectors cannot see, they cannot guide. And so if I would even say, tell me who's your mentor, and I can tell you the integrity of your and the integration of your design. Most of you saw my post from yesterday, and I'm fully on, like, backing myself here and saying this will be the differentiation among the people who are using and talking about human design. Because what I saw is at the level of the comments, even the feedback I got, that just knowing your design never doesn't mean anything. Does not mean anything. And there has to, and this is now the point where with the eclipse season, we're setting up, we're currently in a window of 6 months until the big shift of 2023, where a 20-year new cycle begins, and a lot of things will change. And this eclipse season will bring up even more the topics of the 6 months ago eclipse season. I will share in the vibe what to look for in your design about that. But just for you to know that if we don't clean things up, especially projectors, if you do not have your penta, the 5 people around you, supporting your success, but most importantly, supporting your motivation in your design, you will always be pulled into your not self. And Ra said something very interesting, and I just found this quote before I went live, that with 2027, I have my computer here because I wanted to read it out to you. It is the era of the sleeping phoenix. And if you know, even this, when I still see in the coaching bubble people talking about the new era, the new paradigm, they have no idea what's coming. Even in the language that people use, you can see who studied what, and the level of human design knowledge and integration and using it is not at the level that it has to be to really make that shift into the new era. It's incredible that more and more people get interested in human design, but we need more people who are really living it, because otherwise we continue feeding not self patterns. And y'all know me, I'm German, I'm direct, I am very quickly in executing. My spleen says this is healthy, this is not healthy, this has to go, this not. I have desire motivation, I know where I want this to go. And so the etiquette has to go up. The level of how we show up in each other's inbox, how we approach each other. When I see how a projector approaches me, I right away see it's the energetic application and happens in my DMs. I observe my touch cognition field. Is this something I want to touch? I want to be touched by? Do I want to absorb that person's energy? And if someone approaches a projector, either comments on my post, especially the last one, or comes in my DMs without recognizing me, I know that this projector just has no idea about what a recognition truly is. And then, most likely, not even knowing what a correct invitation is. So what I then understand is why so many projectors are not successful in the way that really truly feels good to them. Because they have no idea about the mechanics of their aura, how to approach other projectors in the correct way, and so they are not approached by others, and they are available for way, way less and way too much not self energy, and available for too much bitterness than actually necessary because of the lack of the integration of that knowledge. Does that make sense? Can I just get a feedback? So the quote that Ra said is, when we go into this new era, it's the era of the projector responsibility. Do you know that it takes radical responsibility to truly live your design? Thank you for affirming that. It takes radical responsibility, and to the point that you cannot, it's not really they say it's an experiment, but you know what? It is actually way more a radical decision to trigger and fuck off a lot of people. Because if you are truly in your authority and you live an autonomous life based on your own integrity and your design and your authority and following form principle, then that means that you look at your fractal changes, which is your reality. And if you want to get onto the correct fractal, where actually everything is so in synchronicity, doors open, especially for projectors. We receive invitations. People are drawn, magnetized to me to support me with everything. The car accident, the apartment here. Yesterday I got, the story I have to tell later. Christina, can you remind me to tell the story of how I crushed the wedding last night? That is a fun story. But these moments also happen in my business then. I do not have to sell every day. I do not have to think about what is the next launch and chase the next launch. People are in my inbox recognizing me, asking me how to work with me, continuing working with me, up-leveling their investments with me all the time without me needing to market that on social media to prove my success, without me forcing and shuffling down how amazing my work is all the time. It's really such a lean back energy when you live correctly. But you know what that means? You have to hold a lot of misunderstanding of people, especially the ones who are closest to you, meaning your family, your upbringing, your partner, and they don't understand. They don't understand. But you know what? The biggest change happened this year as I went through so much pain and trauma and transformation and mutation this summer, especially around my solar plexus, that I just decided I do not explain anything to anyone. And this is the ego, the healthy ego. When you go, just, there's nothing to prove. No one needs to understand if I know this is correct for me. And there comes a detachment and a surrendering that is highly magnetic. Because if a projector leans back, you can go and scroll back even 6 months in my Instagram. I was way more forward, way more masculine, way more preaching, way more right in people's face. And it's okay. That was a version of me who has not fully integrated certain parts. That's our process. That's okay. But now on the other side, I know when the less I talk, the more in my power I am. And I observe more. And when it comes to 2027, bonsoir. I truly, like, projector responsibility means you have to be responsible for who do you allow in your life. And if you really want to be a correct and successful projector, it takes more than just knowing your design. It takes actions and decisions that people don't understand. If you move, if you eat differently, if you tell your partner that you don't sleep in one bed anymore with them, that you tell your family that you don't spend Christmas with them. The tantrum that these people feel is not because of you, it's because you mutate them. Mutation. Does anybody know truly what mutation means? Tell me in the comments. And if it's not, I totally understand, because this you don't learn from Instagrammable human design content. And so I'm thinking, how can I step more into my responsibility to bring more education into that space? But I also know I cannot do that for free. That would be against the projector design. There has to have an invitation. An invitation only comes, you know what a true invitation is? Invitation means guide me, how can I pay you? Here's my bank account. There has to have an exchange. So mutation is not only cellular change. Mutation happens, it is a process where you cellularly get into a different frequency. But what happens on the outside is that you take action differently, that your energy field changes, and that you are more empowered in your design. You are more empowered to be yourself, for all types, to be yourself and to live life as yourself. And let's bring that even more forward. That means such situations where you simply do not accept anymore how people treat you, what they say, how, like, even to fit into a social context, you actually become very unsocial. I don't go out to dinner anymore in a normal setting and eat what everybody else is eating just to fit in and not to offend people and not have discussions with my family. I don't have discussions with my family because I'm not available for it anymore, but I still don't obey. I don't bend. I don't lean in anymore. And so these conversations, actually to live a lifestyle that I do now, I always wanted it. And this is when we go into business mechanics, then these conversations about your friends and you changing your life and you cutting out people out of your life, or you do not engage anymore. Like, I'm not part of my family dynamic anymore in a way that I was before, but I still love my family and I still connect with them. But it is a different way when you, and now this is really the biggest difference between an integrated design or not, and especially for projectors, when you can be in not self auras without being conditioned by them. Family, friends, partners, and clients included, because we as projectors, we are designed to be conditioned by taking on their conditioning to guide them. But usually, how many projectors feel exhausted? And even the openness in sacrals or manifestor designs, you take on the conditioning. But to understand what that takes, to not get conditioned by them, to not be pulled out of your motivation, do you know how, like, your success in business depends so much on whether or not your fractal and your penta supports your motivation. If you're in transference, you cannot see correctly. And if you don't even know these terminology that I speak, we got to talk. You got to step things up, because that is exactly the gap where you have to understand what that means and how to integrate that in your life. And then these actions to actually make different decisions and being able to hold them and not feel guilty and not fall back into the good girl energy and the little girl about, oh my God, now my family doesn't understand, now they didn't like me anymore, this fear of rejection. And even the fear that so many women have, no matter across the designs, of bringing their shit to the table and saying, coach me, guide me. I want to really be successful. So tell me all my bullshit so that we can clean it up quickly and I can rise and evolve and make more impact, more money. This is what I'm missing. Even among my clients at the beginning, I feel this hesitance of really bringing everything up and that they bring it up, not me looking. I see it right away. I see it, of course. I'm a projector. You cannot fucking lie to a projector. I see it. So why not just clean it up quickly? Like, there is so much, yeah, but if I share this, then I feel bad because I do something wrong, or I'm dumb, or I'm afraid to be judged as stupid or dumb or unknowledgeable. Or, I mean, let's be honest. Like, if I were a fly at the wall in your apartment, what you do behind the camera and what you claim in front of the camera on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, there's a difference, right? Yeah. So whenever we try to pretend something in front of the camera and the background frequency is not as in integrity, there's a gap. The energy is energy is energy. So why not just clean things up behind the scenes so that you feel really confident, really embodied, can show up. Nobody, actually, everything that you own in front of the camera, nobody can judge you for, because you are not available, because you're not judging yourself. And that's the big difference. So how to shift that, Kelly? And I want to say I appreciate and recognize you for being interested in the system and reading a lot. This is amazing. That's the first step. And the second step is getting into mentorship with someone who can guide you into your own integration. And this is the business mechanics that I wanted to talk about. I still haven't told you the the raw thing. So, Kelly, the thing is, Christina, remind me please of the raw quote. Yes, you can't lie to a projector, absolutely not. But being a projector who sees everything and shouts at people is also the not self of the projector, because only an integrated projector doesn't need to talk about it. There is so much detachment. It's way too much attention that I give that person, and I get paid for my attention. And only a projector, you will drop all the self-judgment when you are guided by someone who stopped judging. my clients know that. I'm direct, I'm straight to the point, but there's zero judgment because it's not productive. It does not help anyone. But what it is highly mutative to get cut right through the bullshit. And this is what you want, and this is what you need. And all your mothers have modeled self-judgment, guilt, shame. Even this need of mothering others, that's why you mother your clients. That's why the people-pleasing pattern is so ingrained, especially in undefined egos. And the defined egos feel too much, and so I better please people to not feel rejection. There's so much I could talk about, and if you were in one of my classes, in one of my spaces, things will shift in your aura, in your energy field differently and right away by you just being and hearing me talk about how you can live life as yourself. And this will give you the permission that you don't even need. But you will see me modeling it and say, this is normal. And actually, this whole thing that we got modeled as women is not normal. It's common. It's commonly accepted that women play themselves down. But it's not normal. So there's, of course, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a mentor for a businesswoman. And at any point, if you go like, fuck yes, I have to change something here, ASAP, then you know what you need to do. Invite me. You send me a message and say, hey, what's up? Like, I want to work with you. How can we make this happen? That is integrated. That's empowered following your authority. But when I see women talking to me and say, I come back later, and never come back, that's the energetic application where I go like, okay, not accepted. It's just in my world, I move differently, and I raised the level of availability for my clients, the client standard, this week tremendously. Because when I now come back to the quote, the sleeping phoenix era is the beginning of projector responsibility. And that means, most importantly, and this is what I add to it, taking responsibility for your word, for your desires, for what you truly want, and even if it's uncomfortable. But there is such a, now is the time to practice following your authority. In 2027, when certain streams in the chart won't be accessible anymore, you have to know yourself. Especially with the eclipse season now, when gate 61, Pluto is on it. It's the truth. Why do we see people getting so fired up, whether in the 3D and the collective, about what's going on in certain areas of this planet, or in certain, like, look at my live streams. I'm very much on fire to speak the truth. And this gate 61 will fall away. So we only have 4 years left to really understand yourself. And people are looking for, hey, what's actually my purpose? What's going on in this planet? People will wake up, and people are looking for guidance to really understand themselves. 2027, gate 61, gone. Gate 4, no access to answers, gone. Survival state in the background. Nothing to respond anymore for sacrals. What do? You have to be existential. What does existential mean? Also, human design terminology. Existential means you have to be able to get out of the mind in the body, because the mind will look at all these things, go like, shit, what should I do? Everything is crumbling. No one takes care of me. What now? Body. What is the body doing? Nervous system. fight and flight mode. If you do not know how to access and follow your authority now, not 2027, you got to follow it now. And let's make it to the business. Have a successful autonomous business running and knowing how to be adaptable and flexible to whatever is going on in the external, and not try to chase a monthly income goal. That's not relevant anymore. So we got to practice that now and set the foundation now. And that's why I got like, oh my God, it is now the eclipse is showing you what are you purging right now? What are the topics that come up? Scorpio energy is so deep old shit from like the basement of your house. Something that you cannot hide anymore and run away. And every projector will come to the point where you either still broke, hit an income ceiling over and over, or you're so bored by your clients, you're so exhausted by what you do and following that mind model, you have to build a 9-centered business. I will teach a master class from 7 to 9-centered business in November, because it's important to understand not only the energetics, but the business mechanics and how to set up the correct structures for your design. I'm changing my business. I'm a line 6. I'm teaching it right away so that you can do that too. And what actually is happening right now, the eclipse is happening in gate 28.1, which is all about information and the foundation. So I'm leaning back and I'm observing and I'm seeing people speaking up and I'm seeing people cleaning their audience, and this is what I'm gonna do over the weekend too. Like I will just release a bunch of people who are not moving and stepping it up. I'm like, okay, then my fractal needs to be clean. And when I evolve, my audience should evolve as well. And what is happening is that we look at, okay, who has the true foundation? Who is talking real shit, real truth, and is in integrity with that, and who not? We see it on a global stage. We see it here on the internet as well. So if you want to really build something that is sustainable, like how often do I hear projectors telling me, I want a sustainable business. I don't want to work so hard. I want to have it easier. I want to have effortless sales. What is required for that is to be a projector or a manifesting generator, a generator manifestor in integrity with your design, so that you do not follow any of these mind models anymore. So, but how hard is it for you to, when I say unfollow all the coaches that you are following? Because nobody is truly, especially not in the coaching industry, modeling a 9-centered business. It's still a pyramid system. It is still not individualized, differentiated empowerment. Because otherwise, these coaches won't be gurus anymore. They won't be looked up at. And looking up to someone as a mentor is not differentiation. Because if we all live fully embodied in our design, there is no hierarchy. Yes? Do you agree? Do you see that? That this coaching industry is still a pyramid system? So who do you look up for? Nobody. You got to bring it back to yourself. And a projector has to see intellectually, because all projectors are highly intelligent. But if the view of the perspective is filtered through the not self of, I'm not seen, I see all the things, but people don't recognize me, that I have the answers. How can I become seen? I have to be seen. I have to do something to be seen. So I look at what others are doing and I model that and I follow it, and I try to get viral on TikTok so that I can say, oh, I figured it out. But if a projector or any type, let's say a smart businesswoman, and not talk about design, but a smart businesswoman who wants to scale to millions, if you're afraid that someone else looks at you and your design and your energy and your business because they could see something that you did wrong or is wrong or whatever, it's self-sabotage. Like, I always say I have no shame in the game. I tell, and even my mentor stood on stage and said, and talked about me without even telling that it's me, but saying, you know what, the biggest breakthroughs and the biggest transformation happen when you go like heart wide open, just tell me, no shame in the game. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I maybe did things that were not correct. I know, great, but I want to do something about it, because just awareness doesn't change anything. And if a woman or a man, whoever it is, thinks that you can figure it out yourself, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You cannot do this alone. Ra even said that. You cannot do this alone. And this is where the mechanics come in. Everybody wants to have it effortlessly and easier in a business, right? So just getting in someone's energy and aura, who is in integrity more than you are and who can guide you, things will change without you doing anything. How effortless is that? So my question is, what is holding you back to hire those people and not to throw all the money to those coaches who are modeling you not self and pulling you and projecting onto you their not self? You know the answer. And it's usually the not self that the mind is telling you why it's not time, why not now. Or maybe you don't even think about this. But let me ask you, and this is exactly what Ra says, the responsibility. Projectors have a responsibility for certain aspects of the development of overall consciousness. So there is not only a responsibility in projectors, I would say, for all women who have more awareness than the masses. You have to have a successful business running. You have to understand how the mechanics of your aura work and how to market and sell it. Because after 2027, you have to be in your own autonomous money-making possibility in your design. There is the masses, and the masses use homogenized ways of talking about design, talking about consciousness, talking about spirituality, whatever. And only the ones who stand out and go deep into the knowledge, but also embodying it and leading from it, and are willing to stand out by doing things differently and talking about things, and not just watching on the other side of the screen and thinking that you still can change and create the results in your life and in your business by just watching another person and trying to figure it out how she's doing it. It does not work. It doesn't work. And you know that. And so what is holding you back? So if money is an issue, create the money. Go and get a job. I'm serious. We don't have time. We don't have time. And I want to be there much sooner than 2027. Now is the time to start. The things are already crumbling. It's not just that midnight when the 1st of January 2027, suddenly things are changing. It's already happening, and it will take time after 2027. But what is important now, even better yesterday, is that it's simple. It's so simple. You feel something in your body, you follow it. Your mind, it is like riding a bike. There is no questioning of, I just follow it. If you're still sitting there and thinking and still watching and trying to be mentored by me by just watching my Insta story, like, come on. Come on. Like, are we here in kindergarten? Selling consciousness, selling human design, and then doing that? Sorry. That's not an integrity. Yes. And you know why I can talk about this? Because at the beginning, I also had a job. I came up with the money. I asked my parents to lend it to me. I did so many things because I wanted it. And yes, it's my desire, motivation. I make things happen. I know where I want this to be. But if you feel pulled towards something, it is 2027. Nobody else will hand it to you. You have to figure it out yourself. The background energy of 2027 will be, don't bother me. I'm too busy being myself. I have shit to organize. Like, I don't have time. And you have to be independent. Independent, not dependent. And also not dependent on whether a TikTok goes viral or not, or Instagram Reels is now preferring Reels than whatever. This is not relevant. There's so much more relevant. And what is relevant is that a projector is actually able to see. Because when we develop, when we contribute to the overall consciousness, it starts with our own consciousness, right? Definitely. So how do we amp up and raise the bar in this online space? Sarah, what do you mean with that? So when we want to change something, like so many know, we have to be the change. If you want your clients to buy from you, to show up in a certain way, Tanya, hi. I would celebrate you. And Tanya just popped on here. She's a projector too. She also got recently a job. And I do believe that if the pressure is off, you will actually make are successful and make money faster, because you do not put pressure on any client and depend on that sale or that post. Everything is fucked up when you come from that lack energy. You have to, a projector needs to be, you have to have the resources. And when you follow your design and your magnetic monopole, you will be guided to that place, that job that will be the bridge job to the next thing that gets you one step closer. But sitting there and saying, I don't have the money, that's not a thing. You come up with the money. You create solutions. If you want to really build an online business, you got to be a business owner, entrepreneur, and take responsibility for it. And just watching and staring at that phone is wasted time. In that time, you could go on the farmer's market and sell some bananas, potatoes, whatever. I would do that. There's so many signs out there right now. Help wanted, help wanted. Go and get a job. Join for 100 euros my membership and have me in your ear a couple of times per week. We have monthly Q&As. You get way more than from social media, and you would be one step closer. And when I ask, do you really do whatever it takes? Do you really want it? How empowered do you feel? How independent are you? You can answer that. One thing I want to talk about was this point about projectors. What I see with is what is so important is to have the right people in your life. This is so important, because what I usually notice is that when you are still accepting energy suckers in your life, then these are success suckers. A projector, when you put too much, I want to, like, this is your assignment for all of you, not only projectors. And Veronica, I see you comment, and I really appreciate it. I will amp up, just as a side note, Veronica and everyone who is struggling to make more money. If you can come up with $100 per month and join my membership, that will help you so much. It's one step closer. We will add more resources to that space. We will amp it up. We'll make more Q&As. Like, I have so much planned for that, because I know that this can be the springboard to way faster success because of the mechanics. There is no invitation through the screen, but when you join someone's offers, someone's spaces, mechanically things shift. And some of Maria's on here, she's a generator. She experienced massive results and shifts just by listening, and it's acoustics. This is where I said mutation, right? Mutation only happens through acoustics, frequency, cellular reprogramming, and that cannot happen through you reading about your design. How to combat sacral conditioning while working in a 9-to-5, though. Yeah. You have to understand your mechanics of your aura. You can do that. How do we observe? Okay, the membership. How do I find more about your membership? The link is in my bio, or you just message me. Easiest way, send me a message. I can send you the link. I would love to have you. So, as projectors, we observe by absorbing. But this is what I usually also talk about in the membership, but also in the upcoming projector intensive. How do we take on others' aura without getting absorbed? And I said conditioned. And this is something that no one in the human design field really teaches, and this is where I can bridge that gap. Communication, boundaries, and standards. Setting higher standards, communicating. This is what so many women are lacking. To communicate your desires, to communicate, to hold your standards, raise your standards higher. We will talk in the Projector Success Intensive so much about practical self-leadership, standards, boundaries, all these things. Do you know how to say and what to say it so that your boundaries are not crossed? Not only in business, in real life, to your family. Like this, the hardest people to talk with is when it gets emotional, right? When emotions are high, intelligence is low. And then we fall back in our old little girl and this, we just want to get loved by daddy. And then our heart hurts when our mom is angry or feels disappointed. And I always have to take a deep breath when I still say, that's not acceptable. I do not accept that you talk to me that way. And saying that in such a calm state, without defending, without protecting myself, took me a year to get here. And not many women have that capacity. But the point is, when you spend your energy there, because it's always in the back of your mind, and I wish I could say something, and I don't want that anymore. When you have energy suckers in your life, not people, but even your thoughts, for a projector in particular, that's the reason why in your business you don't have energy and you don't attract the right clients and you show up from an exhausted energy. And that's usually the reason why the business is not thriving, because you are engaged and you give your attention to too much, which is not supporting your success and your motivation and your entire signature, which is success. It's interesting, right? So what we usually do when I work with clients is that we clean up the lifestyle. So, and it is even more clear with this eclipse and with this full cycle that this eclipse brings. You can go back into the year 2013. Actually, I wanted to talk about this on Sunday more, but now we're here. 2013. I stepped out of corporate consultant, high-level consultant. I went to Los Angeles and I studied yoga. I just did yoga all day. I studied nutrition and I was sitting there like, I want to have this freedom lifestyle every time. I don't want to go into an office again. I want to travel the world. I want to be at the most beautiful places. Nearly 10 years later, it's the same energy. And this landed, and this was the missing piece for the Projector Intensive, that we have to shift it completely. It's not only about visibility, it's not only about how do I attract clients. We will not only talk about strategy and recognition and your system and your channels and market through that. This is all the strategic part. The true mechanics of your aura will work in the correct environment and when you create a business, a lifestyle business. So that we first look at your lifestyle. How do you want to live? And then we create the business that actually supports and brings in the resources. And not the other way around. So, and standards and boundaries is a big part of it. Attention. I wanted to talk about attention. And then the last piece, I have so much to say, and we're going to continue this conversation on Sunday if you're with me. But actually, the conversation that we have, would actually be me coaching you, me guiding you through what comes up in those moments. When I talk about these things, something comes up. This is mutative. Something comes up in you, and we need to talk about this. And this is not possible in this live stream, especially when it's now getting darker. Isn't that beautiful? Look at this. Can you just all leave one word when you look at these? Post the word that comes up in the comments. And if you want to come here on next March to meet me in Aura, you can message me. I'm organizing a retreat. Stunning, right? Peace. Yes. By the way, it's just 2-hour flight from London. Christina. I just met yesterday. People from London. So the last thing that will blow your mind, and now it's getting too dark and too wet and too kind of moist here. You see my curls are kind of down. Okay, the last piece. Tomorrow is a live stream and on Sunday is a live stream. Okay, so we continue the conversation. But the last piece that will blow your mind and that will actually is my invitation. I'm very open, very direct. There is, to all projectors, is the invitation to join the Projector Success Intensive. It's a 6-week intensive, and there's a wait list in my bio to get your name on the list. If you want to claim your spot right away, because there are only 10 seats, you can send me a message. I send you the details. It starts on November 11th. And then for all non-projectors, I have an invitation for you, which is a completely new way to be mentored by me. And you just got to message me, okay? There's another projector. The last piece that will blow all of your minds and will be a trigger that is mutative to really sit with this invitation that I just made. What comes up when I say comparison, imposter syndrome, not feeling good enough, feeling like, fuck, they all have figured it out. They all have 100K months. Why don't I even get 10K months? Comparison, competition, not feeling seen by your next level clients. What comes up? Looking outside to other coaches and thinking, what do they know and I don't? What are the rules they are playing by? Why does it look so easy? How did they get there? How did I get here? The moment I stop comparing myself with anyone else. And the big sign how integrated you are in your design, and this is what I see all the time, is the moment you understand that this game that everybody is playing is not a game that you play anymore when you are truly understand who you are in your design. Because there is nobody who you can compete with anymore. This is the entire sense behind differentiation. If you are living as a differentiated person, it doesn't make sense to compare yourself. The answer is always right in front of you. The answer is in your magnetic monopole. The answer for the how do I get clients, how do I build my business, what is the best model, what is the income stream, it's all in you. The structures of your business model is the structure of your aura. However, you can't see it. Someone else has to pull it out of you and translate it into your business. Someone with the 4426, someone with tribal energy, someone with projector energy. So the reason why you can't see it is because we cannot see ourselves. A projector, if you have a little understanding about yourself, we know that we cannot see ourselves. So there is no way around to work with another person. So that you get to the point that you stop looking outside and understand yourself even more and bring that into the business. And then everything else is not self-patterned. So when you still compete and think you have to compare or look up to or take on a model of someone else, it's all not self. It's not working. So next time you open your phone and you feel bad, just close it. And in best case scenario, you have Voxer and Voxer me. Or you are in our Telegram chat of the vibe and you go in there, go like, ladies, I need your support. Remind me of who the fuck I am. This is what you get in my world. So projectors and not projectors. You have all that you need. It's inside of you. You just cannot see it. And this was the biggest shift for me. So how can we see it? Only through mentorship. It's not possible. Any other is not working. Not a program, not studying more. Study a lot, and then integrate it with someone. So the invitations are there. If you feel drawn to my work, if you want to be mentored by me, send me a message and I can share with you the options. Okay? Other than that, I will look at your questions because I talked already a lot. Let me see who's still with me. Okay, there's still so many because I want to answer the question of the people who are there. And I know, like, this is the last thing. I know a lot of you for longer already. And I want to say it's time to hire me. Because you're watching me too long and you're asking me always questions. And at some point, I got to say, I don't answer any questions anymore unless you pay me. But I'm not saying this to be arrogant. I just say this because that would up-level the standard that you hold for yourself and your clients, and you will attract way higher level clients and become way more successful, because there's just this resistance of, oh my God, what would she, if I hire her, what would she say? That I make mistakes? No. You are amazing. You are amazing. Let's make it even effortlessly and much better. Way easier and more like getting out of the bitterness. How amazing would it feel to not feel bitter and not have physical issues from overweight, water retention, bloating, heat rashes on your skin? All these things, especially for a projector, are signs of not self and that you're eating the wrong aura. And we don't want to go down any other diseases. So, just saying, it's time. Okay? So, how do you get invited to the wedding? Do you really want the story of the wedding? Okay. Oh my God, thank you, Maria. My word completely shifted in a few days by just joining HG Vibe. Yes. I love this space so much. Thank you for recognizing me. Okay, how do I get invited to the wedding? So the fun story is that when you truly are in your perfect environment and you don't overthink decisions or poles of your body, I was actually sitting there like, okay, what was first? Was first my thought, how fun would it be? Like I had a thought in the afternoon as I was listening the music of the wedding. I was like, it would be so fun to just put a dress on and crush this wedding, because there are definitely single men on a wedding, right? I'm like, okay, this is how I live my life. I just do that. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that would be fun. Like, possibility view, there is a possibility that there is a single guy. So what is the worst possibility that could happen? That they throw me out. What is the best possibility that happens? I have fun, I meet a man, and maybe I fall in love and it's an amazing story, or I just have fun for one night. That's how I live my life, because tomorrow I could die. Right? Yeah. However, what then happened was my physical body, my form principle, pulled me to the yoga shala down there instead of doing yoga in my room in the evening, which is totally not normal for me to do yoga in the evening. What happened is that as I was finished with my yoga and I did this ranty story from that yoga place that you all saw yesterday about me going live, I heard a voice behind me. It's like, excuse me, are you a yoga teacher? I'm like, not anymore. Wrong recognition. But yeah, he recognized me as a person who does yoga, right? I'm like, no, not anymore. Like, statement, right? If projectors don't want to have a small talk conversation with a very single word sentence, like, no. And then he said, yeah, I don't want to disturb you. I like, okay, do you have a question? Like, come on, bring it on. It's okay. So he asked me a couple of questions about the yoga here and what level it is and whatever. And he was obviously in a suit, and he was definitely a guest of that wedding. So I asked him a couple of questions, because this is our power as projectors. We don't talk so much. We give statements and we ask questions, right? So the better you can ask questions as a projector, the more you can guide. So I was guiding the conversation here and asking him questions. And then I was in my short shorts and in my bikini top yoga, right? And he said, come on, we're just having dinner and then we can dance. It would be fun to have you. You sound to be like a nice person. I'm like, no, I don't go in my yoga shorts to a wedding. Like, I crush a wedding, but not that way. That's not my standard. So I'll be back. And he said, oh, okay. And I did not, which I used to do that, to ask guys about their phone number. Like desire motivation. Like, okay, give me, like, I know, if I know how I want this to go, I just go and do it, right? I take care of it. This is desire motivation and tribal channel. I did not do that this time. I'm like, okay, I'll just let the mechanics work. You would say, oh, I just let the universe do its thing, and if it's meant, and blah, blah, blah. I don't believe in this whole universe, spirituality, manifestation shit anymore since I'm in design. So I went to my room, I dolled myself up, I went down, and of course I couldn't find that guy because, to be honest, that was a Jewish wedding, and everybody looked the same. Like, all guys were wearing black pants, white blouse, not a blouse, a shirt, and then a black tie. And they all had black hair. So I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not going around and staring everybody in the eyes or asking. So I sat at the bar and I ordered a drink, and I let the principle of my aura do its thing, how I usually do it. So I got a drink for free. I got invited by the barkeeper. Second, two other guests came up to the bar and ordered some food. And I was like, and this is just following my spleen. And I kind of observed myself that things came out of my mouth asking the guy, do you know? And then I asked, I knew his name, right? So I'm like, do you know? And he said, yeah, sure, let me text him. So it was that the mechanics of the form principle, me not going into my head, oh my God, how do I find this guy and whatever. I just relaxed. And then I went outside, I sat down, I had my drink, and then 10 minutes later, the guy showed up. And we had a cool evening. Are we back? Are we back? Okay, so the conclusion of the story is the aura of a projector is so potent when you don't force it anymore. You will actually attract way more in your life and your business when you fully let go. And that's the totally opposite of what they teach us. And now I'm bringing that more and more into my business, and I realize there's the effortlessness that comes in when you stop pushing it too hard and forcing things. And when you understand, yes, this is my motivation, this is what drives me, as well, sun and earth and the nodal and all that. But you actually don't have to do something and do so much to be recognized and invited, but fully living who you are. And this sounds so simple, but it's not, because it takes this work around really letting go of these highly addictive patterns of the not self, to be seen, to prove your worth, to make them see what you see, or explain your offers, and too much talking among all projectors. And in the intensive, we will do an experiment of less talking and more living an influencer lifestyle, an influencer way of marketing on social media, which is so fun. Well, you see me doing it all the time, and that will actually attract more clients. Just as a side note. Okay, that was the story of hi Suzanne, good to see you. Another client of Sam here. There was a question, and the question is now gone. Okay. As a single definition of the 1858, being visible feels like an uninvited collective sharing, which straight leads me to bitterness, talking to a wall instead of feeling success, from my 1858. That's a good thing. Okay, I don't know. How do you feel being visible feels like an uninvited collective sharing? No, that's your projection into it. That's rather, I would say, the fear of what others say about what you have to share. So, which straight leads me to the bitterness, talking to a wall instead of feeling success, from my 1858. So this talking to a wall came up with Christina as well this morning. And I have to say that, do you know actually how often I feel like I'm talking to a wall? Because barely anyone reacts to my Insta stories. So I do believe that when we even feel like talking to a wall, there is too much expectation about an affirmation about what you have to say. You don't think that I would still show up every day and share if I don't do it because I love to express myself. For me, it's art. And for me, it is, and this is what I will also teach in the Projector Intensive, it is, I go on stage, I do my talk, I do my show, I drop the mic, and I turn around, and whatever you do, I don't care. I do care in terms of I do what is correct for me, and I know by me doing and living it and being myself as a sixth line, I teach. I mutate. I mutate you. But what you think about me, what you do with it, I stopped caring so much because it made me feel bitter. I see all of your potential. I see where you're stuck. But at some point, I made a decision. I cannot save you. I don't want to. Because there's a very empowering point in your life that everyone has to go through where you choose being yourself. And that means you got to make that step towards mentorship, investment, or any other decision. Nobody can do that for you. So detachment is a big, big thing. If you want to really be more potent in your message, you cannot look for any response. And it took me a long time to get here. But you know what helped me? That I have people in my life who I talk to, especially my mentors and my peers, who I can have this high level, very much my intelligence nourishing conversation. Because sometimes or very often, I'm like, okay, I'm talking here now, I don't know how long I'm already here. Who does really who is doing actually something with this? Like, and I don't say, I'm inspired, it was so good, it was so mind-blowing, I have more awareness. I'm like, action. I don't know. I don't care. Because I come live tomorrow again. It's my design. I cannot not do it. But in order to not feel bitter, I have to stop looking who is doing something with it. I'm on the roof. Like, I don't look down. I order a cocktail and enjoy the sun. Because you got to choose success or not, and you know what you need to do. And if I feel bitterness coming up, I just clean my audience and block people so that they cannot watch me anymore, and then I feel better. Because as a sixth line, you watch me, you'll learn from me. But at a certain point, you're going to make the decision to hire me. And my body tells me when it's time for a cleanup. When the spleen says, we got to detox. And I'm saying this so that you can check in with yourself if you want to do a detox as well with your audience, to not feel bitter. And you have full permission to do that. Okay? So, I'm getting cold. Got to close this now. Let me just check these last two questions very quickly. Paulina asks, so Gary Vee is a 3-5 projector, but he also has a very similar design to mine. He has a motor, he's an ego defined, but he's also, because he's operating in a not self world, he is definitely also, you can see it, he's not healthy and he's burned out. So he's so successful because he is, what I observe from him is that he truly means it, that giving value and compassion is his driver. He has a healthy ego and he has no need to be seen. And this is what I observe with most projectors, like this energy of, come on, finally, I just want, and this is, no, it's off. Too much explaining, too much proving of your work, especially over on TikTok. Like it is a beast, TikTok. It does not support projector energies. I'm a 1-3 mental projector, 4323, just beginning in HD and feeling like I finally found the explanation as to why I never really fit in. I'm 46 and feeling maybe it's too late to live in my design. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's never too late. Because you don't want to regret anything. Go all the way, like for all of you, go all the way to the end of your life. You don't want to regret living life as your not self. Every day. As I said, join, if you want to start, there's always a way to start, and you are not fitting in because you're not meant to be homogenized and to fit in. You are meant to live life as yourself, and that looks different than anyone else, and that is the normal. That is normal. It's not common, but this is what you learn in my world, to really, in the end, you don't have to learn to be yourself. You have to stop learning to trying to be someone else, and the fear that comes up and the what if and all that. This is what we've got to work on and release. Okay, it's way too late. It's way too dark. For any information about the membership, message me. Projector Intensive, message me. Any other questions you have, message me. I will come back tomorrow with a special guest, and I will come back with a big announcement on Sunday. Okay? I wish you a beautiful rest of your day and wherever you are. And remember, you're designed for success. Never forget that. Okay? Bye.